Hello and welcome back to the channel. So what happened? How did I end up accidentally buying a car? Well, it's the old thing of browsing on eBay when you're a couple of glasses of wine in. But a little bit of a background of it. For some time now, I've been hankering after just a small little car that's something a bit fun, something that you're not really going to lose much money on and then move it on later on. I keep chickening out of lots of cars that I've been seeing because, money's always tight and I cannot really justify buying a car just for a little bit of fun. But you know how it is, a couple of glasses of wine in, I saw a little car on eBay that looked really nice, could be quite interesting. I never expected to win it, so I put a cheeky little bid in and thought, yeah, that will go for a lot more than that. Next morning, wake up, check my messages. Congratulations, you have won this item. So it's then a bit of a dilemma of like, ooh, wasn't expecting to win that. Do I back out of it and annoy the seller, or do I just bite the bullet? My bid is the highest. Just do it, buy the car, and see what we end up with. So, what have I bought? So this is it, the Ford Puma. And yes, before you ask, it has got the 1.7 Yamaha engine, so it is the good one. Now, I don't know what you think about the graphics on the car. The seller bought this car to do like a classic-ish rally in the north of England. And that's where he put the stickers on, make it look a little bit more motorsport. So I don't know what your opinion is on that, whether I should keep the stickers on or just remove them and have it as back to as standard as possible. There's the rear end. And I know it's cosmetically it needs a few little bits doing. I mean, it's 24 years old, this car now, in 1998. You can see the front wing's got a couple of dimples in there. Bit of a dent in the wing there to sort out. And as to expect on a Ford Puma, the rear arches are renowned for bubbling up. That actually doesn't look too bad for a Puma of this age. So a little bit of rust to sort out there. Wheels don't look too bad. The centre caps just needs painting. All looks fairly straight. From that angle it didn't look too bad. This wheel is probably the one that looks a little bit ropier than the rest. We'll do a nice little refurb on that one probably. There you go, you can just see the dent in the wing a little bit better there. Headlights look a little bit fogged as well. A little bit of chipping to the front and down in this corner as well. Now the engine bay doesn't look too bad at all. Now the seller of this car said that this year the car has had brand new front shock absorbers, new springs and top mounts. It's had the tracking done on the vehicle as well, and it had a major service in about March this year. So yeah, under the bonnet it looks straight enough. Hasn't got the original radio in. Not too worried about that. Looks like the driver's seat's got a bit of a patch on the side bolster there. But when the car arrives, we'll see what we can do with the seat. Might just get a whole new seat. Might be able to pick one up at a scrappy somewhere. Rear doesn't look too bad. Looks like most of it just needs a bit of a wet vac and a bit of a shampoo. And there's the front. You can see a little bit of chipping on the front there. And again, you can just see that corner. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad. The things that the seller said the car could probably do with in the not too distant future, it could probably do with a new clutch at some point so that it's starting to drag a little bit, and maybe the sills on the car will need replacing at some point as well. It sounds like they're starting to go. And the only thing mechanically that he's told me about is the temperature gauge in the car is stuck on high. He says the car has never lost any coolant and it's never lost any oil. And he's recently did a classic rally around Europe, I think it was, where he did 1,300 miles in the car over 4 days, and it never lost a drop of coolant or oil. So it sounds like it's either faulty thermostat that's causing the temperature gauge just to go straight to high, or the gauge itself, which I'll probably have a look at that when the car arrives. And what do you think I paid for this car? Now, I've seen lots of Ford Pumas for sale recently, a lot with the less desirable 1.4 and 1.6 litre engines, all up around about the £1,300 to £1,600 mark. And a half decent 1.7 Yamaha engine car, they seem to start at around about the £2,000 mark. And then I've seen some really nice ones advertised at the moment as well, with only about 40 to 60,000 miles. Anything up to £3,000, a couple of them a little bit more. This car's done 115,000 miles, and as you can see, it does need a little bit of work, needs a little bit of love. Fortunately, I do work in a garage, so hopefully most of the things I can get done at trade. And then a little bit that I can do myself as well. Although I'm not that mechanically minded, so the things that I can do will be very basic, but hopefully won't cost too much. But I paid for this car £621. So as you can imagine, that's the reason why I wasn't really expecting my bid to be the highest, because I've got myself a 1.7 Yamaha engined Ford Puma. Granted, it needs a bit of work, for £621. Now, worst case scenario, the car turns up and it's as described. I could probably flip it straight away, get my money back and forget about it, or maybe even earn a couple £100 more. Now, the car is 300 miles away from me, and unfortunately, due to time constraints and things that I've got going on at the moment, I can't go and get the car myself, so I've got a transport company to go and collect it for me. And so with the transport costs on top of the car, by the time it gets to me, it will owe me £800, which I still think is an absolute bargain for a 1.7 Yamaha engined Ford Puma. So there we go. So what do you think of my little Ford Puma? So when I found out I accidentally won the car, after a little bit of panic, I started thinking, what can I actually do with the car? I mean, the options I've got. I mean, if the car turns up and it's as described, I could probably flip it straight away and earn my money back on the car fairly easily. There might even be a mechanic locally that will fancy having something a bit of fun that you can do up. And I know people turn these into track day cars as well. So worst case scenario, I think I can earn my money back quite easily on it. But I have been having this itch that I would like to scratch, of just having something small, nimble and fun. Now, with my job, I get company cars, and the company cars are always brand new cars. They're bang up to date, modern things. But over the years, as you're probably aware, modern cars come loaded with more and more intrusive safety features, things like lane keep assist, which tugs the steering wheel in your hand. And I live down in Devon, and Devon has quite a few narrow roads, and there's nothing more enjoyable than just driving around a nice twisty B road, and all of a sudden the car starts fighting you through the steering wheel. Really annoying. And also I've had emergency autonomous braking, brake or do an emergency stop without warning when there's been nothing in front of me. So these modern safety features just tend to wind me up a little bit. So I have been hankering after something just a bit more old school, a bit more pure, more fun, something to remind me of when I first started driving in the mid to late 90s. So do I keep the car, have a little bit of fun with it, see what I can do it up a little bit, so hopefully put some more value back in the car, weighing up how much these things will cost and whether I can realistically earn that back. But also, do I try and keep the car as standard as possible, or do I try and do a few modifications? There's only two modifications really that spring to mind that I might do. Both are fully reversible. One is put a decent induction kit on the car, because this 1.7 engine can sound rather raughty with a decent induction kit on it. And the other one is just to put a half decent sports exhaust on the car, because again it has rather a fruity exhaust note with the right exhaust system on the car. And with those two things done, I could end up with an absolute riot of a B-Road Warrior. So yeah, let me know in the comments what I should do. Shall I just flip it and get out of it straight away? Do I do it up and see if I can earn a profit on the car? Or do I do some interesting things to the car and keep it and enjoy it for a little bit? So I'd be interested to know what you think. But I'll catch up with you when the car actually arrives. It's arriving in a day or two's time. And we'll have a look around it together. See if it is as described, or if it's hiding anything that could turn into a bit of a nightmare. But I'll see you on the next one.